Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we are going over a new little, very mini, don't expect it to be long, but a very mini series of cars that you didn't know are under certain price ranges. So today we're going to do a 10 grand. Tomorrow I think we're going to do 5 grand. And then in a couple days we'll do 3 grand. And then we'll do the last cars that are under $1,000 in 2022. Probably going to be 2023 by the time I actually get to that video, but you know what I mean. And I'm pretty excited to start this series. So today is for 10 grand. So this is literally just 10 cars plus one honorable mention that are under $10,000, but you probably didn't know are under $10,000. Guys, really quick, I want to say over 80% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you really, want to support your boy. All right, so coming in at the number 10 spot is the Nissan 240 SX S14, baby. It's specifically the S14, but the S13 is way cheaper than you think too. I think a lot of people always say that they're everybody always online is always like, oh, I can't buy an S14 for anything less than 10 grand nowadays. That's just not true. They come with a 2.4 liter inline 4, making 144 horsepower, and they are rear wheel drive. I personally didn't think that they were going to be under 10k, and it is hard to find them under 10k, I'll say that. But they're definitely there, and in my opinion, they are an amazing car for under 10 grand. They look great, they're an absolute living legend, so prices are going to continue to go up, meaning that it's a good investment. And yeah, it's not the most reliable daily driver out there, that's for sure, but it's a fun car. It's a fun little sports car. They still are very overpriced. I don't think any S14 should be anywhere close to 10k, but they're under 10k. If you want to buy one for like $8,000, you can do it. Number 9 is going to the Porsche Boxster, such a weird word to say, 986. This is a very ugly Porsche model, but it's still a Porsche model, so I really did not think it was going to be this cheap, to be honest with you, because it's a Porsche, and every Porsche is very expensive. But not this one, buddy. This one, however, comes with a 2.7 liter flat 6, because it's a Porsche, duh, making 222 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive. By the way, the Porsche Boxster is convertible only, so all the boys can see your locks flowing in the wind and everything, which is questionable. I personally don't like convertibles, but some people do. This car is pretty much just a rebadged Porsche Cayman, so if you like the Porsche Cayman, this is for you. It's obviously going to be a little bit unreliable because it is a Porsche, and it's definitely not going to be cheap to maintain at all because it is a Porsche. But once you actually buy it, it's a fun little car, makes a decent amount of horsepower. It's just a fun little weekend car. Number 8 is going to an incredibly underrated car, just hands down. Nobody talks about these, and it actually absolutely blows me away. It's so luxurious. I just didn't think it was going to be. It's the Jaguar XF. Okay, you already know because it's probably been on the screen for the past 10 seconds, but it's the Jaguar XF, my bad. They are so freaking slept on. They come with a 3 liter supercharged V6, making 335 horsepower, and they were rear wheel drive. That's very fast, even for stock. Obviously, if you want to modify it, you can, but that's very fast. In my opinion, they do look a little ugly, I'm not gonna lie, and they are incredibly unreliable, so don't expect to daily drive it. You can daily drive a Jaguar XF that's not supercharged, but the supercharged ones are a little unreliable. Just want to put that out there. But they are very new, nice, British, luxurious cars with a bunch of new technology on them, and they are underrated as hell. If you want to show up to a car meet and have people asking you what kind of car that is, this is a good one. Coming in at number 7 is the wonderful Pontiac GTO. This freaking thing, man. People sleep on it because it doesn't look that great, all right? It looks a little weird. It looks does not look anything like the original GTOs at all. And I understand that, but it doesn't need to, because it's its own little entity. It shouldn't have been called the GTO realistically. It should have been called something else, but it's its own little thing, all right? It comes with a 6 liter V8 making 400 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive. Yes, you heard me right. That is 400 horsepower. You may be asking, well, what motor is making 400 horsepower? Oh, gee, I don't know, maybe an LS. All right, it's freaking LS powered. So even if you get bored of the 400 horsepower like a psychopath, you can make more. I always thought these cars were at least 20 grand. I was mind blown when I freaking was I looked them up. I was like, let me see if they're under 10k, and they were. They are hard to find under 10k because this is the last of the GTO line. They come with an LS, and a lot of the muscle car guys want them, but it can be done. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the Ford Focus ST. That ST stands for subscribe to, and then me is the last one. It should be called STM. I just thought that since these were like new sport hatchbacks, like hot hatchbacks, that they're not going to be cheap, but they are. They're actually significantly under 10K too. It's not hard to find them under 10K at all. They come with a 2.2 liter inline 4, turbocharged inline 4, making 252 horsepower, and it was front wheel drive. They also are manual only, so that's pretty cool. And that's like obviously like, oh yeah, I'm a car enthusiast if I drive one of those, which is awesome. In my opinion, they look okay for a hatchback, not great. And they have, you know, they're a hatchback, so at the end of the day, they got tons of room. It's very practical to drive one of these things. They're very reliable, actually, if you keep them stock. And if you don't want to keep them stock, the power potential is there, especially for an inline 4. So it's a fun little car. And it's a new car, too, with like tons of new upgrades on. Man, front of 10, man. Coming in at number 5 is the Nissan Cefiro A31. This is obviously specifically for the United States boys, so in case you guys couldn't tell yet, because this it doesn't look that great and doesn't look like it should be over 10 grand, but it's an import. You never got them in America, so it's kind of weird that you can find an imported car for under 10K, and so that's why I put it here. They come with a 2.4 liter inline 6, making 141 horsepower, and they were rear wheel drive. I'm going to be the first to say it, they don't look that great, but they can look decent once you modify them a lot. But they're not going to be a head turner when they're stock. But they are an amazing drift platform. They're reliable as hell because they got that Nissan motor in them. Parts are going to be hard to find in America if it does break, because, you know, it's an imported car. But they still are reliable. They don't like to break that much. They're not the best option if you're looking for like a sports car or even a daily driver for under $10,000. But I'm just surprised to see like an import under $10,000. Coming in at the number 4 spot is the Mercedes SL600. If you watch this channel, you've actually probably seen that car a couple of times in my under 10K videos, so you're probably not that surprised. But for everybody else, yeah, they're under freaking 10K. It's very hard to find them under 10K, but it can be done. Okay, it's very hard. I want to make that incredibly clear. The SL600s are still wanted. You're going to have to get like a poopy version of them. They come with a 6-liter V12, making 394 horsepower, and they're rear-wheel drive. That's insane. I always thought before I started doing this whole YouTube thing that the SL600 was like a $50,000 supercar, but they're not. And it blows me away. They look absolutely incredible, but what's even more incredible is how unreliable they are, because they're an old V12 Mercedes. Don't freaking expect to be daily driving this thing. If you expect to be daily driving this, you're going to be disappointed. They also do come with a manual transmission, and they're one of the only Mercedes models out there that come with a manual transmission, so that makes it one of the only Mercedes models that I like. Coming in at 3rd place is the wonderful BMW 328i F30, which is the second newest generation of BMW and the BMW 3 Series, and that is just mind-blowing to me that they're under 10 grand. They come with a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4, making 240 horsepower, and they were rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So this is the first car that gives you the option of picking between rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and I always love when they do that. It looks just so classy. But then once you like modify it in the simplest of ways, it's now like super aggressive, and that's amazing to me. That's like every BMW does that. They like look stock, they look like a normal like girl car, but literally the simplest mods, and now they're a monster of a car. They're a very new BMW, so I never thought that this would be like under 10K already. That's why it's on this list. But it's not going to be a good investment. I want to say that very, very quickly, because prices are only going to continue to drop since it is such a new BMW. They're just going to keep dropping. So if you're thinking of like making money on this or like flipping F30 BMW, probably not the best choice. Coming in at the second of the places is the Datsun 240Z, my good friend. It's just such a classic. That's why I didn't think it would be this cheap. That's why I put it on this list. Like, you would think a car from the literal 60s and 70s would, like a sports car from that era would not be under 10K, but they are, and it's just mind-blowing. They come with a 2.4 liter inline 6, making 151 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive because it's a Z, and every Z is rear-wheel drive, so fun can be had in that, buddy. Now, it's obviously not a good daily. It's not comfortable. It's probably not going to be that reliable because it's very old, and the one that you're getting under 10K is probably going to have a couple of issues on it, but it's freaking cool. All right, it's also like a living time capsule. You're like a freaking time traveler if you drive one of these things. My voice just almost cracked, but it didn't. But it's just so cool, dude. I love it. I love everything about the 240Z, and the fact that you can find them under 10K makes me love them even more. Honorable mention time for this video, and it goes to the wonderful Infiniti G37 Coupe. The reason why this is the honorable mention is because if you've watched this channel more than 2 times in your lifetime, you know that the G37 Coupe is under 10K, because I talk about it a lot. They come with a 3.7 liter V6 making 330 horsepower, and they were rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. They give you that option. Once again, they're a very new, high-class car, so that's the reason why I didn't, like, most people don't think they're going to be that cheap. And they're reliable as hell. They look incredible. Just, if you buy one, though, don't drive like an absolute maniac. Coming in at the number 1 spot is going to the wonderful Audi A5 8T, my good friend. They're literally just such a classy, like, good-looking car, and they somehow are still sitting under $10,000, so that's the reason why I didn't, like, that's the reason why it's just mind-blowing to me that they're under 10K. They just look like you're, like, a CEO of some big company when driving around in one of these things, and they're still somehow under 10K. They come with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, making 211 horsepower, and they were all-wheel drive. Now, that's not that fast, if I'm being honest, for, like, a new car that's pretty heavy and all-wheel drive. 211 horsepower isn't anything that great. And it's not the most reliable either, because it's a 2.0 T, and they like to go boom-boom. But they can just look so incredible with, like, just such simple mods done to it. And it's quattro all-wheel drive, so you're not going to get stuck literally anywhere. Quattro all-wheel driving, in case you don't know, is like the best all-wheel drive system in the world, and it comes with quattro all-wheel drive. In my opinion, I just thought this was mind-blowing that these cars are already under 10K. It only goes to show, like, how much these German cars depreciate over time, and I can't wait to see what we got under 10K in, like, 3 years. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of 10 cars plus 1 honorable mention that you would not believe are under $10,000. Let me know if you knew all those cars were under 10K, or let me know if you knew that none of those cars were under 10K. Next video, like I said, tomorrow most likely is going to be, I might do the under 5K one, but I also might do the I might do my personal 15 favorite JDM cars, because I got that script written up too, so I'm just kind of trying to decide between the two. Oh, also, I'm going to leave in the top of the comment from, like, now on, the top of the comment section from now on, I'm going to leave a little, like, a link to a channel. That's my gaming channel. I do GTA Online content, car extra racing content, Forza, Need for Speed content. If you guys want to watch gaming stuff, go over there and check that out. I love gaming, and I didn't want to bore you guys on my normal channel with the gaming stuff, so I didn't want to put it on this channel, so I made a new channel. It's called Giggity, but I'll put it in the comments, like I said, from now on, if you want to support that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.